Now, a new propaganda video has been released showing a British man who's being held by ISIS militants. John Cantlie, a press photographer who's been held by the group for almost 2 years, is shown sitting at a desk reading out a prepared statement to the camera. We understand his family have been informed. Our Foreign Affairs correspondent, Jonathan Rugman, has more.
We've been trying to get into Idlib for a few days now, but apparently the roads are just there's no way, it's not secure.
His name is John Cantlie. He's a British photojournalist, and this is the first image we have seen of him since he was kidnapped in Syria in November 2012. He was travelling with James Foley, an American journalist murdered on camera by so-called Islamic State last month. But today's video, named Lend Me Your Ears, contains no direct threat. It warns the West not to fight another war. It criticises Britain and America for not negotiating hostage releases, and it's clearly filmed under duress. You're thinking he's only doing this because he's a prisoner, he's got a gun at his head, and he's being forced to do this, Cantlie says. Well, it's true. I am a prisoner. That I cannot deny.
I haven't seen the video myself, as you'll appreciate. I've been in meetings here all day, but obviously we'll look very closely at any material that has been released on the internet.
There's no mention of Alan Henning, the other British hostage. The aid worker's life was threatened at the weekend when the death of David Haines, another Briton, was announced. The question is why the jihadists are using John Cantlie for their propaganda. They may be struggling to justify the murders of 3 Westerners to date, killings which have outraged opinion, both East and West.
ISIS, having produced 3 execution videos and having portrayed itself as very brutal, it kind of realizes that maybe that was not the right strategy, because it's actually made it very easy for Western governments to mobilize their entire publics in favor of involvement in that conflict.
Probably about 40 guys here or so.
John Cantlie had already been kidnapped once and then released. He gave us his last interview before returning to Syria and being kidnapped again.
We were moved at gunpoint with weapons loaded, with the safeties off, down into another larger tent where there were 2 Syrian prisoners. We were handcuffed to them. We were then blindfolded, and we were told that we should prepare to meet our maker. And at that point, we decided this isn't going so well.
Today's video, so different from the previous 3, might suggest that Islamic State know their brutal tactics are being condemned by Islamic leaders. By coincidence, 100 leading British Muslims issued a plea today for Alan Henning's life to be saved and for him to be released. But that hasn't happened, and at the Journalist Church, candles are burning for John Cantlie tonight, a second British hostage whose life is also at risk.